What's up, y'all? Happy end of the month, final day stuffs. It's game break time. If you don't know what the game break is, basically it's a spot where we kind of take a break from gaming. We talk about some games, what we're going to play, what we have played. We definitely have some stuff outside of gaming that happens too, so we go over that. And much like the rest of the game breaks, we're going to jump in and get right to the stuffs. And I want to give a big shout out to Teflon for the $2 super chats. He's dropped 4 of them already. We also got a couple of gifted memberships, thanks to yours truly. So congrats to Marilyn. And it was, what was the other one? It was something cup of tea, I believe. I believe it was. Where'd it go? It's somewhere over there. Anyways, top notch cup of tea. There we go. Okay, so it's been a whole month and we're officially back. And welcome. YouTube has been, listen, there's always somebody that's way better and also people that are way worser. This month was a little rough though, after seeing some pretty steady increasing claims. We saw some pretty big drop-offs this month too. So this is sort of one of our rougher months. We don't necessarily have the best views in time. Most people are getting back to school. A lot of our audience is either a teacher or is a student of either, college or all the way down to elementary. Our videos cover all sorts of things. So we have all sorts of people watching. And you can definitely see when school's out for the summer. And you can also see when school is back in session because everything just... So good news is we got a whole new lineup coming up. It's likely going to draw some pretty good attention. And then we'll be moving forward with our normal stuffs. We got some guide videos still popping out and other stuff. So, but you can see here, last month we had 2,000 subscribers in the last 28 days. And this month it's only 1,460. That's a huge drop off. That's a huge drop. Again, it has to do with the back to school stuff. So at least traditionally, that's how it's worked out. Views still doing pretty good, creeping up on that million. Dropped off a little bit though. I believe last month we were right around 900. So we dropped out 50,000, which is, quite a bit if you think about it. And watch time dropped a little bit too. I need to do comparisons. I need to have like last month's as like a smaller graphic next to it so I can reference it because then we can kind of see the impact, whether it's been a good or worse month. Sometimes it has to do with the content or the choices I make of when I stream or what games I'm uploading. And sometimes it has nothing to do with that at all. YouTube's such a crazy scenario. You can work real hard and get less views and less money, or you can take a week off and skyrocket because of somebody posting your video somewhere or something. So you just never know. And people always ask me, well, how can I succeed on YouTube? And it's a tough space to get into. And as somebody who's been doing it for over a decade, it's still a tough space to compete in. And, listen, not to like pull out the old wah here, but in the last couple of weeks there's a developer, I won't go into details, but there's a developer that's pretty big up there. They've been around. A lot of you guys have, in fact, I know most of you guys have played games that they have made. And in the last couple of weeks, they've been showcasing, like, seems like every other week they post up like this, hey, you guys should totally check out this channel. They do good work. And I'm not hating on any of the people they've chose, but the people they've chose are like 1,000 subscriber people. And one of them even had less than that. And, one of them had like 5,000. Some of the views they're getting on their videos as a result of this is astronomical. It's crazy. It's awesome for them. But I can't help but feel like, some of us have been here for 10 years doing this stuff. And these people have just created a channel. In fact, all 3 of the channels that were showcased were all created during the pandemic when we were all waiting for Skywalker Saga. That's when these channels were, that was the time frame. And so, to see that, it was kind of like, what about me? And I mean, not really, right? I mean, my work speaks for itself, but ultimately, that would be like icing on the biggest cake that's ever been made if something like that were to happen. And hopefully it will someday. So yeah, ultimately YouTube, there's a new thing that's happening too, and I've sort of talked it over with Reese. I don't know if he's going to help me. I'm going to try to do some on my own as well. But the goal is with YouTube's new change with the shorts being able to link to long form content. I'm going to start doing some stream highlights and maybe some mini kit highlight videos, stuff that I really didn't have intention of doing before, but now that it could potentially, you know, like somebody could be scrolling, they're like, oh wow, it's Lego Harry Potter. Oh, it's all 10 mini kits in that level. Cool, I can go. It might actually lead people to our guide videos. So before it wouldn't necessarily do that. They could subscribe, but then they'd have to go and find our channel. And you know how you know how today's world is. People don't like to work. They don't like to scroll around and look for things. They like to be fed content, and that's what I'm hoping to do. So there might be some more shorts coming. A lot of the stuff will be revisiting older content, but that's something that'll likely help as well. So definitely excited for that. And you know, traditionally I sort of have this thing where every year things are going a little bit rougher this time of year, and I sort of jump into, and you guys have probably, some of the long-term people remember October test. You know, I won't, like, we go way back, but like I've been doing October tests since like 2000 and probably 13 or 14. Every October we try something different. Sometimes it's like, you know, Dougie plays. Like, we've tried all sorts of things that have launched in October. So I've got some plans to play some October-based games. Shout out to Occupied for getting me thinking about it early. Wait, did I just shout out Brad? Take that back. Cut that out. Get rid of that. Don't let him know. Hopefully he's still awake. I know he was struggling to stay asleep or stay awake. So anyways, so we're going to try some new things. And Paz and I, so funny enough, Kirsten, if you're out there listening, you and I had a conversation about a couple of things the other day, sort of the prelude to the October test. So Kirsten kind of has some uppity ideas that maybe others don't know about yet and will soon. And it was funny because the very next day I talked to Paz, and Paz like totally went off on this tangent about something we need to do. And I was like, bro, that's on my list. What do you know? You know, so I'm excited to, you know, collaborate and do some things with him and potentially, you know, move forward with our idea. I see a freely. All right. What's up, Mike? Let's see here. Kirsten is listening. Looks like there's quite a bit of a delay, unless she's just delayed in typing. But yeah, so anyways, new stuff coming up soon. Oh, did I tweet that we were out there? I went to do that earlier. I guess I didn't do it. My bad. I'll do that in a few minutes. All right. So this time of year too, for the last couple of years, it's glorious. We have this giant field in front of our house, and for years it's been sort of like a desert wasteland, if you will. It's got like that straw grass, like field grass, and it gets really tall. Like, I mean, it'll get as tall as I am, and I'm, you know, about 6 foot tall, a little short. But we have this neighbor who comes through and whacks it down, and it's always this gross sight. Well, we also have a neighbor across the way that historically has had a lot of car parts and car carcasses. That's right. Like, he'll take the motor out, take the wheels off, let it sit on the side of the house. He's had cars propped up, like chassis and stuff propped up on the side of his house. So it's not always like the most beautiful thing to look at. And we've got lots of flowers and all that stuff. So my wife created this idea to get a sunflower barrier. For one, it creates, you know, a little bit of distance between us and any of the rubbish that may be out there. And it also is something just absolutely beautiful to look at and very therapeutic. My wife likes to go out there and water them, and we've set up all sorts of like drip systems and stuff too. But ultimately, it's a pretty cool little deal. So this is like my wife's hobby at the end of summer every year. It starts a little bit earlier than that, but just a quick update. So you can see the wall O sunflower is tall O sunflower. It's definitely up there. Now, I didn't do a slideshow. I've actually got individual videos, so if I wanted to zoom or move around or stuff, I definitely could. There is the wall. It's roughly, I would say, 40 feet, 50 feet long, somewhere in there. So like 100 noms. I guess we're using nom as a measurement system now. So it's roughly about 72 noms, give or take. And I just got a couple of just random ones. I mean, like I just mentioned, I'm about 6 feet tall, just shy, and I got pretty long arms too. And those things are. It's hard to see because I'm looking straight up at it, but I mean, those things are 4, 5, 6 feet in some cases above my reach. You can see. I mean, look at that. I'm looking up at it. That's not faked perspective or anything. You can see a bee there too. You guys see that? Let me see if I can zoom in on that bee. Whoops, 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 whoops. Let me get in here. Almost there, almost there, almost there. What is it? It's number 4. Unlock, unlock. Come on, let me grab it. Oh, it's being a jerk. It won't let me make it bigger. Anyways, you can see the bee up there in the middle of the sunflowers. Pretty super sweet. Then we also got these teddy bear sunflowers. They're smaller. They're only about, I don't know, 18 inches tall or so. And there's a long story behind that. Essentially, my wife had all these plans, and we were going to have like a couple of small garden boxes full of the teddy bears, and then we were gonna have a couple of the regular size ones, and then we were actually gonna right in the middle we were gonna put the giant ones, and things didn't go as planned. But here's just a really cool photo too. I mean, it's just like amazing out there right now, and it will be for the next couple of weeks slash months. The way that my wife plants them, there are so many of them that they sort of fight for their right to live. And so as a result, they're a little bit lankier and taller, and a little bit starved for water, but growing for that sun. And ultimately, it'll kind of continue in this cycle. And it's kind of funny too. So just a random fun fact for you. This house has been here and in my wife's family for 35, 36 years. And 35 years ago, don't tell anyone, but they brought a California poppy home from California. Her sister lives in California. You're not supposed to really take stuff, right? Because it's different environments and brings on different whatever, right? So not supposed to really take, but they brought a California poppy here, and it took off, and it's everywhere. And like for like 2, 3 weeks every year, we have like 7,000 California poppies in our front yard. They went all over our neighbor's yard, across the street, down like the whole block. And that's exactly the reason why they don't want you taking plants from state to state and country to country, because they're not necessarily good for the environment, or they don't really necessarily want to deal with them. So anyways, it's funny because now the sunflowers are doing the same thing. Our neighbor has all these random sunflowers growing just randomly in like the dirt, on like bark dust, right? Like under his trees and stuff. And we're like, sorry about that, Paul, but it's just going to start spreading and keeping going. Because, every year they drop their heads, and the heads have the seeds, and the seeds create. So very interesting, very cool. And yeah, I will definitely probably have one more session of those before. And here's the thing too, because of how they got planted and when they got planted and who they got planted by, the big ones. We have the giant sunflowers. So those are like, I'm serious. Those are probably, some of those are probably 10 to 13 feet tall, I would say 10 to 13 feet. The ones we have, they're supposed to get to like 25 feet. They actually sell the seeds for like 20, $25 a piece. But we were at the Salem Saturday market like 2 years ago, and we were walking through, and this guy, it was like a sunflower farm, and this guy had a giant head from one of the giant ones, and they were selling seeds. And so my wife started like, oh my gosh, what's the name of these? Have you ever heard of the teddy bears? And blah, blah, blah. And just started going off, and like her knowledge of all the sunflowers and her love for the sunflowers like impressed the dude. And she was like, yeah, I'll have to come back and get some of those. And he's like, hey, come here. And he literally pulled like 4 or 5 seeds right off the big head that was sitting there on display. Said, here, good luck. Let me know how they turn out. The booth has never been there again, so we've never seen him, and we didn't write it down or take a card or anything, so we have no idea. There's like 1,000 sunflower farms around here, so we have no idea which one it was. But definitely. Mods, keep big eyes on the chat, please. So yeah, those big ones are likely going to come out next year, and I will definitely be sharing those with you too. They need to be planted a little bit sooner, and I think we're going to spread them out a little bit different. So not so many starving. Or we did that to our raspberries too out back, and like she bought a bunch last year, and then they like spawned new ones, and like now there's like we have 2 boxes, and one has like 50 raspberry bushes, and one has like 3. So they're like oh come on, Nom. I knew the mods needed to keep their eyes up for a reason. All right. Also, I see he's out there. I want to give a shout out to Josh. Josh was extremely patient with me this last week as I went back and forth to the post office to get shipping quotes. We bounced back and forth between a few different sets. We found some prices that were sort of in the middle of what everything is expected out there in this crazy world for a Lego collection. And so big shout out to Josh Main for hooking up a couple of the sets and helping me fund my Golf R project, because that's ultimately what it's turning out to be. Oh yeah, Josh, I found those sets that I've been looking for. I did post a post on our Discord, so if you're interested in seeing all of the Ninjago sets, I actually had some Toy Story sets, some Marvel sets. Remember you were saying, and I was like, I think I've got some more Marvel runners. So, well, I found a couple of them. They're just small sets, but it was fun to find all that stuff. My mother-in-law dug out a big bin that we thought they might be in, and sure enough, they were. So, but again, big shout out to Josh for hooking up a couple of them sets and taking them off my hands. And also, it's a little weird seeing it built already, bro. I mean, as you know, that one, the one you built has been in a box sitting stashed away in the dark for 8 years at my house. 8 years, and you built it in less than 45 minutes. Oh, still a little bit hard to get through that. I see the love. Appreciate that. All right. So next up, I have been flapping my yapper about my car for a long time, and took it to the drag strip finally. I do have a short video of a couple of drags. As I told you before, both times that we went, my friend Greg went with us, who has a supercharged VR6, which is an all-wheel drive Golf. I have a turbocharged Golf that has just front-wheel drive. I do have a limited slip, so that is basically fancy talk for both wheels spin at the same time, and it should be better traction. But I found that I am still not ready for the racetrack. And here's the thing. The racetrack is, my car is set up, and my tune is set up to like grip it and rip it, and it wants better tires than I have. Like, I don't have crappy tires, but I don't have race tires on. I don't have semi-slick. So I struggled to get some traction a little bit, and you can hear it in a couple of the clips. I've got the audio tuned pretty well, I think. Mods or anybody on Discord or whatever, hit me up immediately if it's too loud or too quiet. I want you to hear the and there's also some supercharged whine from Greg's supercharge. There's one point that I'm like, sounds glorious, and he's like, what? And I'm like, sounds glorious, and then you can hear it after that. It goes not super loud because my GoPro was mounted on the right side of the car, so it had to go through me, out the car, across into the second lane. But on that note, I hope you guys enjoyed. This is a Woodburn drag strip, 2 different nights. You can actually tell the different nights because I got a gray shirt on some, and I got a teal shirt on the other. Yeah, super slow. I'm fast, but I'm not that fast. Here we go. Again. So this is a friend of mine that lives in town. His name is Alex. This is a different car than my friend Greg's. That's actually a Stage 2 GTI. It's a Mark 7. Mine's only a Mark 6, so it's newer. Stage 2 is basically equivalent to what I have as a Stage 3. So our cars are pretty even. Sorta. Sorta. And this is my friend Greg supercharged VR6.
Sounds good. Sounds glorious. Go around the burnout pit too.
What's up, Brace? I see you sneaking in there. Just in time for the vroom vrooms. So this is my friend Greg's first time drag racing. Watch him pull right past the starting line. His back tires are over.
First timer, take it easy on him.
I was gonna let him sit on there for a while.
Can you guys hear it all right? Third gear says bye. That's funny, Mike. I see your comment. All right, so this was another night. This was, you could say, oh, Urge! Look at him get the launch on me. He's out of here. He's out of here. Psych. Not today, Junior. Not today. So yeah, fun stuff. 13.69 was my fastest time. And that was the last run you saw in the car, was the actual run you saw at the end there. So I came home, I was so disappointed. I was like, my car's not running right, something's wrong with it. And then I found this thread. In fact, I keep meaning to send it to you, Nam. And I want to send it to Gray too, so I'm gonna go ahead and send it to you right now. Gray's gonna be like, what the crap is this? Just for funsies, it just kind of gives you an idea. And the reason I wanted to show you this, Nam, is that I'm guessing that there is one out there for RS3s that might be like worthy of like checking out just to see. And then if we find that, I'm gonna cry myself to sleep if you actually get the RS3, because none of my cars are gonna be fast enough, that's for sure. But yeah, definitely awesome. I see Brian says, like the Thumbie on your helmet. That actually took quite a bit of finesse to get the sticker. So the helmet is very round, right? Very round. And that vinyl sticker, I had to stretch it. There's like this one little spot on the white edge. It's sort of bunched up and bulked up because I couldn't get it any other way. But it was still pretty awesome. And yeah, I figured I better represent a little bit. And to be honest with you, I was like, no one's even going to see it because no one's there. But I forgot it's in the video. Pretty sweet stuff. All right. Anybody else out there drag race? Anybody ever done that? So I used to have a Volkswagen Jetta. It was a Mark II. As I mentioned, I have a Mark VI, so the 6th generation. I also had a 2nd generation. I've had a 1st gen, a 2nd gen. I've had 2 3rd gens, 2 5 gens, a 6, and I'm about to get an 8. So I've never had a 4, which is what my friend's R32 is. It's a 4th gen. So I've never had a 4th gen, and I've never had a 7th gen, which ironically was the first car that I raced. So kind of funny how that works out. But anyways, I used to have a 2-door Jetta. And the guy who had that red R32, he and I have been friends since we were like 16. We met when we were 16, 17 years old. And, you know, so about almost 30 years ago, 29, 28, 29, 30 years ago. Long story short, so get ready. He sold the car to a dude with an agreement, and the dude broke the agreement. And part of the contract was that the guy would repo the car. And so he called me and was like, hey, you and Jeff have these 2 garages. Do you mind if we get the, and it felt really kind of gross at first because I'm like, whoa, am I stealing this car? That's not I'm not interested in stealing a car if that's what's happened. And he showed me the agreement and everything, and showed me the payment plan, showed me a series of texts that had been like, hey man, if you don't pay by this time, and that was like 3 months after, right? And so we worked it out where he gave me a key and told me where the car was, and I went and got the car. And so we got the car back to my garage, and I was like, how much you want for it? Like we were talking about, buying it, I was going to buy it from him. And we started talking, and as that's happening, I get a call from another dude, and he's like, hey, I just wrecked this GTI up here. It's an 8 valve, blah, blah. Give me all the info. And I was like, I want it. And so I went up and I paid like $400 for this car, and ended up getting the motor and tranny out of that, and the wiring harness, the ECU and all that stuff. And I took that and actually put that in the car that we repoed. And I took the motor, tranny, and ECU out, and I actually put that motor in my Jetta. And so later down the road, my roommate, Jeff, who helped me do the swap, ended up buying the 8-valve swapped GTI, and I ended up getting the 16-valve swapped Jetta. And so we both used to race. I actually went to nationals racing my coupe back in the day. It wasn't fast, but Woodburn, at least a lot of the racing around here is all bracket racing, which basically means, although we're racing each other side by side on the track, we're really racing the time that we put in. Hey, I said long story short, which means get ready, right? I even said that. This isn't the short version. It was ironic. I say that because I can't tell short stories. We've gone over this. Anyways, 14.2 was my fastest time ever, and 14.7 was my dialed in time. So my car is officially a full second faster than that full on. I mean, it was basically a race car. I took all the carpet out, no spare tire, no back seats, no side seat. I still have the car in my driveway. It does not run though. It's a relic. Exactly. Me. See, it all makes sense. You get it. Nom gets it finally. Dang. All right. So one of the other things we did this year. Oh, my coding has changed. Did it? I didn't change anything. YouTube may have changed something. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't change that. That's not me. I haven't messed with none of that since the day I uploaded it. So, okay. So my wife and I have been kayaking a lot too. You guys have heard me tell stories. We often go to a small reservoir close to us called Turner Lake. It's actually, the city close to us had a rock quarry, and the person who owned it donated half of the rock quarry to the city, and the city filled it with water and blocked it off. And now it's an amazing lake. It's not very big, but it's a mile. If you follow the edge of it, it's a mile from the dock to the dock. And so we often go there. However, we often go to this other place called Silverton Reservoir too. It's a very fun place. I've shared pictures with you plenty of times for both of those. Live from the kayaks happened even in the Deschutes River, which is over in Central Oregon. And so we've been all over the place, but one place we had not ever been was to the Willamette River. And my wife found this place where the Willamette and the Tualatin River meet. And I think I told you guys this already, but we're supposed to get in at the dock and then paddle upstream 1 mile. Once you get to that 1 mile marker, you're actually at the Narrows. And the Narrows is basically a bunch of small little islands that are long and, wait for it, narrow. So as a result, there's a couple of these little paths that go through these, and they're not huge. There's only like 3 or 4 of them. And so my wife convinces me that we're going to do this, paddle upstream 1 mile. And I'm like, well, if we got to paddle upstream 1 mile, rolling back's going to be easy. So we got this. No big deal. So it turns out that as we were paddling up, the wind was actually blowing in our face. So we were not only paddling upstream, but we were hitting the blown right in the face. And we're on kayaks, so we're above the water, but like We're also like a big wind resistant human on a chair too. So not great. We got there, totally fine, no big deal. Wife was a little winded when we got there, so she was like anxious to dock and find a place to get out. There's a couple campfires and rock things there and stuff. It was pretty cool. And then if you paddle all the way around the Narrows from like start to all the way, it's a mile. So we did that. We actually went about halfway through it, docked, and then got out, walked around for a little bit, and then went around. And by then it was getting pretty warm, and there was a wind on the outside. So we went on the outside, and it was pretty windy. Well, the wind had shifted, and I swear to you, it was blowing in our face again. So, and it was like pretty gusty. So it wasn't like constant, you know, but like we're just paddle, 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 coast, paddle, 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 coast. If we stopped that, we were not going to gain any ground. We were going to go backwards. So we basically paddled uphill both ways is what I'm getting at. And I actually took some videos. Wife took some videos. I took some photos. She took some photos. And I put together a nice little slideshow here too. And so this is our journey to Willamette Narrows. Now, one thing we did learn from this excursion was historically, I've been pretty good about taking pictures of like, once we get the kayaks blown up, and then once we get the kayaks to the water, and then once we get out in the water. But we didn't start taking photos till we got almost to the mile marker. So that being said, you're getting kind of a late start here. We did get one selfie right as we got in, so sorry about this. Sorry. So we're off. You can see the wind is pushing the water just enough to give it a little bit of rippleage, but I mean, it was pretty smooth out there for the most part. So this was right as we had gotten around the first corner. We're probably a quarter of the mile down. There's all this weird algae and grossness, and I was super scared to like touch it because I figured if it's that close to the surface, there's probably a rock or something close by too, and that was dangerous. Now, we saw a couple of bald eagles. Jillian got a shot of one, but you could tell the digital zoom was a little bit excessive. Here was right as we enter one of the first narrow spots. Unfortunately, we didn't get a wider angle of it to see that there was more than one island. There's me looking back. We had just basically got to the Narrows, and I was looking back over my shoulder. That white building was halfway, so half a mile back behind us. And here we are. We're actually in the Narrows. So you can see like both sides, have some shrubbery and some little docking spots. We had a couple of old timers on some paddle boards that were making it look way too easy, but we officially docked. We found a nice little cove. Wifey went swimming right in there too. And we climbed up to the top peak up here and found a couple of human planted cacti sitting there. There's old Big Belly walking around over there. That was me, by the way. I wouldn't call my wife that. Never. And she asked me if that was a beaver dam over there. Did you see those trees? She's like, you think that's a beaver dam? I was like, no, I don't. But there's a couple of cacti we found. Definitely crazy. Let's see here. There's me. So that's me cooling my feet off. I dip my feet off the edge of the kayak and let them drip. Water can get inside the kayak, but it's not great. And it does, drip out the bottom. It's got a nice little thing, but beautiful day, had an amazing time. And we're definitely bummed that the end of the summer is here. Now, weather is still going to be kind of good and bad for the next couple of weeks / months. Wifey is back to work though. So not nearly as much. Now, my wife is a behavioral specialist at a high school. And you guys don't know this, but up until last year, there was three high schools on the same campus. I know this sounds really weird and made up, but it's totally true. And I'm not exactly sure how or why it was developed this way, but last year they decided to make them all one. So the buildings are close enough. They got enough portables and stuff, and they made it one. So as a result, there is a lot of undefined and unknown stuff. The behavioral specialist positions were literally created 3 years ago in the district that she works at. And she was the first one hired for it. Her and this other lady, they were both hired for middle school. And they both crushed it and did a great job. And they both got promoted and they both went to the high school. And then they had to train two other people for the high school and 2 people for the middle school. And so, I mean, all these professional development classes, all this stuff. So she's supposed to be handling teachers and teaching them how to keep students in their class. I'm sure you probably know or have heard or seen or maybe been the student. You piss off your teacher, they take you out of class. They send you to the principal's office. Well, that's become like so habitual for some kids that they don't really even do anything and they get sent to the principal's office. Super unfair for them to be out of the classroom that much for the silly things that could, classroom management needs to be defined is basically what her job is. But as a result of the school change, like she's still training. And two of those people got promoted to admin this year. So now she's having to train two other people and also doing some other professional developments. And, she does get some extra pay for some of those extra things, but it's a ton of time. So, like right now, she's actually at CPR training from 4 to 6 tonight. So she won't even be home till 6:45, 7 o'clock. And she left this morning at 6:45, 7 o'clock. So, definitely long days working for the district, but she loves it. She's got a really good team of admin and stuff. So, we really tried to take advantage of those kayaking days and do as much as we could. And at some point, I don't know if we're going to make it this year, but we're going to go back over to Central Oregon and do Lake Hosmer. Hosmer? I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but yeah, so definitely we're starting to get out more, like I've been a hermit due to my anxiety and the way I just feel in public. Like I'm just not comfortable. I don't like doing a lot of public things. Like I used to go to PAX, Penny Arcade Expo, the big game convention up in Seattle. I'm like mildly terrified to go back to it just because of how many people and how overwhelming it can be. And seeing a therapist and all that, like going through a lot of stuff. And now we're finally starting to get back out and do things, which is why the wife has approved the thought of getting a new car for me, because she knows that if I have this nice new fun car that I'm going to want to drive all the time, that we're going to go do stuff. We're going to go on cruises. We're going to go different places. We're going to stay places, like we got plans to go, further, like California and everything. Yeah, I know PAX is this weekend. Ironic that I brought that up. Not really, because I knew it was happening. Kirsten and I were talking about it earlier. Reese and I are going to potentially try to go next year, but that was kind of part of our talk that we had the other day. I was like, listen, I can't get you as media without lying, and I don't feel comfortable lying. Like it's a fairly easy thing to do, and writing a letter of recommendation and, saying that you had something to do with production or something, it's easily done, but I don't like doing it, and I don't want to reward you for not doing anything. So like, if you want to start making some of these short videos out of my existing content that would then lead to long form content, right? Then you could be part of the team. You could be one of my editors, and then I could say you're my editor and you have to come with me. You're filming and editing. And he's like, oh, and he was like, well, when is PAX? And I was like, day after tomorrow. He was like, oh, well, we're probably not making that one, huh? No, we're probably not. So anyways, hopefully next year I'll get the courage and the documentation to do it. Are you going to PAX? No? Ooh, Bobby's out there too. What up, Bobby? I see Adam too. What's up, Adam? Good to see you, man. It's been a couple of days. I know your schedule lines up better for the game breaks because it's later in the day, but regardless, still good to see you, man. So on that note, Bobby, guess what I got today? Guess what is probably, let me flip my screen over and see if it's still on. It says no signal. So let me see if I can mess with this real quick. I got my Starfield premium code a couple hours ago. And I got that downloading now. My Elgato it has to run through my crappy stream computer, and the USB thing doesn't ever work, so I always have to restart it. It doesn't seem... What do you mean it doesn't do early access? Day one isn't until the 6th. I'll be playing it early next week. I'll be playing it on the... Oh, wow, look at that. It's not early. It's not early. That's interesting. I might have to do like a intro stream to Saturday or something. Saturday. Special edition? Nice. So you could physically play it today then. I feel like you should be playing it so that you can help me. I see JJ's out there too. What up, man? Some names I haven't seen in a minute. Good to see y'all. Good to see y'all. In fact, just because, why not? Let's go ahead and wait for it. Wait for it. Let's see if any one of y'all will get lucky. I know it won't be Bobby, because old Ebenezer has got his gifting turned off. Oh, A's out there too. What up, eh? Somebody's getting a free monthly membership. And it was JJ. All right. Look at that. I always love it when it goes to somebody that's here and somebody that I know. That's like super bonus. Like, it's always fun to give those out. But great question, Adam. As soon as it goes on mega sale, yes. Or it becomes available via like PlayStation Plus or even Game Pass. Definitely interested in playing Hogwarts Legacy. I think the main wave has sort of fallen and it's disappeared. Most people have either played it and are over it, or played it and beat it, or, you know, so there's not a lot of, you know, so I do look forward to checking that out at some point. But you know, and here's the funny thing. I always like wait till things go on like Mega Moo sale, right? But you guys understand that I thought I heard you snorting. You guys do understand that all of like the games is what I do, and like all that stuff's like tax write-off and like actually good for my taxes, because part of the, you know, like, so like there's really no reason I should be waiting for any deals. But at the end of the day, I do want that Golf R, and every penny counts. Hey, on a side note, speaking of pennies, Reese took in a bunch of change that we had been accumulating since probably he was born. We had like 2 or 3 big like glass jars of like, you know, quarters, pennies, nickels, dimes. And he turned it in. He got $162 or something like that. And with the money he had left over from his last paycheck. What are you doing up there? What are you doing? From the money he had from his last paycheck, he was able to purchase his motherboard. So now he just needs his RAM. And there's one other thing. He just got his thermal paste. He got his extra fans. He got his big fans. I think it might be the cooler. I think he needs a cooler. I think he's done. So he said he's like $300 away from being done with his build. That's crazy. Yeah, $162 worth of change is a lot of change. You know, he takes cans back from, you know, like we make him take the cans back. Man, what a glorious thing to do at this time and age. When we used to do it, back in my day, cans were only worth a nickel. You know, you get 10 cents a can now. That's double what I used to get. And, oh, man, they still got those limits, though. They still got those limits that sort of, you know, are not great, but kick them out for PC gaming. Let's see here, Brian. Did you hear they're making another? So, JJ, that has actually been proven to be a falsified fact. So, turns out a particular somebody thought it'd be funny to pretend that there was a new game and act like they knew what they were talking about. And they let that go. They leaked that image. They did all that stuff. They let it go for like 2 weeks. And then after the date passed that it was supposed to be out, which I personally was 99.99 sure it wasn't, because there's no way a development studio is going to spend 2, 3, 4 years developing a game and not market it or tell anybody that it's available and then just give it to you. You know, those, what do they call them? Ghost releases or whatever? Bro, and you need to settle down with that glizzy loving, bro. I've seen ultimate glizzies, and I am not okay with what is happening over on the TikTok. That has gone too far. Too far. Too far. Get out of here with that. I did sound odd as a couple years ago. They made Harry Potter. Yeah, so the what do they call it? Glizzy Overdrive or something? Like, oh, God. Listen, I've talked to Jillian about it, and I'm like, should I do this? And she's like, you absolutely should do that. And I'm like, you realize what I'd be doing, right? And she's like, oh, doesn't matter. You're pulling in, because those guys are pulling in like $4,000 to $10,000 per stream. $4,000 to $10,000 per stream doing that. I don't think I'd be very good at it. I don't think I'd have the same results as some of those bigger people either. I've seen that, or found out that some of those people have some other careers too, if you know what I'm saying. All right, so stream schedule. We've got upcoming games this next week, new stuff. In fact, one of them will be a repeat. Well, two of them will be a repeat, but we got 2 new ones. Wait a minute. 2 plus 2 is 4, Brian. You only stream 3 days a week. False. We're actually going to kick Tuesday into gear. That's right. As you can see here, we're going to return to Under the Waves on Monday. We should have a couple, 2, maybe 3 streams out of that before I platinum that and we move on to something different. Starfield, the adventure will begin on Tuesday. There is a slight possibility I might do like a first look video and play it for like a half an hour or an hour sometime this weekend. But moving forward, the schedule will be Tuesdays. Normal time, 10 a.m. And then Wednesday, one of the most anticipated games of my recent history is finally here. It's called Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, and you guys have probably never heard of it outside of what I just said, but JJ has got it. Jet Set Radio! So many years ago, a game made it to the Sega Dreamcast, and it was called Jet Set Radio. It was super fun. It was about a, basically like a rollerblading gang who did graffiti, and they were fighting against the bad guys who were trying to take over, which in this particular case was the local police, getting a little too big for their britches, I guess. And so these street gangs were fighting with graffiti. They weren't actually fighting, but they were, they were using graffiti. And so now this company has come out and made sort of a successor or whatever. Guess not watching Wednesday. Hey, that's on you, bro. I mean, you say play good games, don't play crappy games. I've got a pretty solid lineup going here. And then finishing up the week with Friday being Apex. As you guys may or may not know, the Mood with the Bood is actively available on Friday, so he will be joining us when Nom is available. And Kirsten and I have been playing quite a bit too, and so we might even drag her into the mix, or that's the plan anyway. So yeah, so that's the future. We're looking at the future right now. So we will be playing Apex tomorrow. But other than that, all the rest of that starts next week and will continue for, I don't know, a few weeks. Starfield will probably go for a handful of weeks. Knowing we go 4 to 5 hours per stream, knowing that game's like a 200-hour to completion game, it could be around for a minute. Now, if it does terrible, if it's copyrighted off the wazoo or something that just doesn't seem worth it, then I might change that. But 2 out of 2 ain't bad. 3 out of 4, bro. At least 3 out of 4. That's a 75%er right there. But yeah, so that's what we got planned there. Don't forget, too, I know somebody brought up merch earlier. We do still have HTG merch available. That's a live shot of our website. Feel free to go over there. We had a pretty big purchase/dono the other day. One more time, I want to actually pop this back up. Let's see here. Old Joseph Erbrick. Thank you for the big dono and the perch of the merch. So he picked up some stuff. I actually haven't looked at the itemized details, but either A, it was a hoodie, or B, it was 2 of the youth size shirts, just based on the money that was spent. And left a nice little note, and he just said, thank you. I play most of the Lego games with my niece and nephew, and you make me seem like the smartest, coolest uncle. So again, Joseph, big time shout out for the very generous donation and merch perch. Much love to you. Speaking of handing out some thank yous and some loves, let's go ahead and back up just a wee bit on my board here. And let's talk some Patreon stuff. So I got, patreon.com/HappyThumbsGaming. You guys have gone out of your way to support us over there for quite a few years. At some point, we'll probably close the door there and bring all of the perks over to the YouTube stuff. So same type of thing, but like all integrated through YouTube. The biggest difference is the revenue share. The split has been very very kind to us at Patreon and not nearly as kind at YouTube. But regardless, we'll probably integrate that at some point, and you might see it dissolve. But until then, we've got some $5 and up supporters. Much love to all these people. All these guys have been on here for a long time. Like we've discussed, Nom included, probably forgot that they're supporting at the $5 and up tier, but regardless, we still appreciate it. It still goes through for us. We still remember. So much love to all these people. I know that one of them has backed out, and that's okay. They were there long enough that they deserve a little extra. So much love. And now we also have some $10 and up supporters. The list is not nearly as long as it used to be, but I don't want to overlook these names. First on the list is Dougie Fresh, Mr. Douglas Wright. Thank you so much, Dougie, for your support. He was the #1 $10 supporter, and probably forgot. It's been a long time, but regardless, much love to Dougie. Appreciate you. And at some point, we got to get you back in the mix, bro. Got to get you back in the mix. I see you online a lot. We're just not playing the same games right now, so maybe that'll change soon. Although, I don't see myself playing Fortnite. Oh, wait, did I just out him for playing Fortnite still? Anyways, we got next up on the list, we got Michael Karsberg. Thank you so much, Michael, for your support. Much love to you. Appreciate you. As I've always mentioned, I always love seeing your feed. You're very active. You do lots of stuff outside of your home, where I am more of a homebody and do nothing. It's good to see people getting out and doing stuff. I see you go to lots of concerts and stuff, and I think that's awesome. There's a couple of concerts that I really want to go to right now. One of them's up in Seattle in October. Don't think I'll make it. And it'll probably be the only time in the rest of my life that I'll have an opportunity to go to it. But it's just too complicated. It's on a Monday night. Why are you going to have a concert on a Monday night? My wife works, so we'd have to go up there like Sunday, get a hotel for Sunday night, or maybe go up after work on Monday and then stay Monday night and then come home. So she'd have to miss at least one day of work. And we try to keep her, because she's in a new district now, she doesn't have the sick leave built up. She cashed out when she left the Salem district, and now she's at the Woodburn district, and it's not the same. Sadly, it wasn't transferable, so she got a nice extra pay out of it when she left the district, but it doesn't apply here, so her days are limited. Plus we had COVID, and Reese had COVID, and this last year was definitely a handful of days were taken off for that. And in fact, tomorrow there's a big appointment for Reese. He's got to get labs done and a bunch of stuff. We're going to check on his weight and his progress on his stuff that he's had going on, because he's sort of sadly was born with a bad liver, really, unfortunately. He's had struggled with fatty liver disease pretty much since birth. He was born jaundice, so his liver wasn't working for the first 24 to 48 hours. He was super yellow, and you could just tell it wasn't processing like it should have been. And so we had to have like a glow apparatus on him. We called him a little glowworm because he looked like a glowworm. He was wrapped up, long tube. We got some pictures around here somewhere of it. So now that we're older, they did some panels, and he definitely, we needed to clean up the sugars and things. And so that was pretty easy. He's done a phenomenal job. He's lost like 15 or 17 pounds or something like that. And you can just see it, right? And so wifey and I are sort of doing it with him, like eating better, not doing sugars. And like I've had ice cream like twice in like a month, maybe a month and a half. And it's, for some of you, you're like, you've had it twice in a month. I haven't had it in a year. But, as somebody who used to have a bowl of ice cream every single night, that's pretty impressive. We've been doing Cool Whip and frozen blueberries in very minimal amounts. So still some sugary stuff in a way, but it's natural fruit-based sugars. Apparently that's better. I'm still not a doctor and I don't know everything, but last but not least on the $10 super chats, we got Bonnie Miller. Got a little distracted there, but won't ever forget it. And much love to our $10 and up Patreon supporters. Peanut Brother, is it back? Is it back? Bro, don't get me excited like that. I've still got some seedless. I haven't even been drinking. In fact, it's been, it's not been that long. It's only been like 4 or 5 nights since I've had a brewski. But I've only had like one each night. So, and Justin's back. What up, Justin? You missed the drag racing. You want to see the drag racing again? I got everything done. We got all through my list. I got all the Patreon shouts. I got everything out. So, drag racing, let's do it.
Again.
I don't think you saw this yet. Did you, Justin? If you saw it, let me know and I'll turn it off. So again, this was a Mark 7 GTI that I was racing. My car is probably rated, if everything is as is, I probably have 10 to 15 more horse than him, which should not equal me taking off like this. He had a bad launch. You can see him just sit there and spin for days. We're both, funny, we both have the same wheels, same tires too, and same size and everything. But I was able to have a little better foot pedal control than he was. He sat there and spun for a long time. We actually raced 4 other times that didn't get camera work done, and he won 1, maybe 2. One was really close. I think I won. I don't remember.
Sounds
this is my
good.
friend Greg, Supercharged VR6.
Sounds glorious.
With the mismatching front fenders.
Go around the burnout pit too.
I'm like coaching him, like, go around the burnout pit. You don't want to get your tires wet. So street tires, you don't really need to heat them up or anything. They don't have the compound or need for that extra stick. If I was using the race tires, like the semi-slicks, which I wanted to buy, but I ended up not, because it would have cost me about $800 for 2 tires. And ultimately, there goes Greg by the staging line.
First timer, take it easy on him.
I was gonna let him sit out there for a while.
But again, I decided to save my money for the actual Golf R upgrade versus. So we're still trying to figure out why Greg's car does such a launch. Like, it shouldn't lift up that much. It's damn near doing a wheelie. And there's something about our third gears. I don't know if it's the tune on his car, or if it's just the tune on my car. But like, definitely. Why don't Happy Thumbs Down? It is Happy Thumbs Down. What are you talking about? There's a sticker right on the back. I didn't go crazy with them. But that's Greg. That's on dubs, dude. That's on dubs in that R32, bro. I don't know if you caught on to that or not, but that's on dubs. That's Greg. And yeah, there is a Thumbie sticker right on the back. Teflon with a $2 super chat. Look at that launch he got on me. That thing's all-wheel drive, and he actually got a killer launch. He was like, yes, I got him. And then I was like, bye. I'm telling you, that third gear in my car is where all the power is. I think it's first and second gear are really torquey. Third is like... And it was hot, too. It was like 90 degrees both days. There we go. Oh, yeah, did you hear the wife say, gross? She sat in gum right as she sat forward. She, like, moved over. Sat in gum. So my wife was going, gross, because of the gum she'd sat on. I was showing that again because Justin had missed it. And I think Robert had missed it too. So officially, we've gotten through everything that I had planned for today. Did we gain, Kirsten, any new subscribers? We did not. I know there's at least one of you out there that would love to watch Kirsten streams that has not yet subscribed. Please subscribe, as we have a link pinned in the top of the chat to make it easy for you. In fact, I'll even drop a new one down below. Yeah, she was able to, so it was like older gum, even though it was hot out, it was like sticky, but not crazy sticky. Would I need a helmet for my stock RS3? I do believe so. Let me see. Anything below a 14-second quarter mile requires a helmet. So 13.99 and faster. So, and lower, basically. Audi RS3. It's 2021. Yeah, 12.3 with likely with slicks and stuff. 3.8, 0 to 60. Yeah, I should have brought my slips up here, but hey, what up, Zoe? Your Lego Jurassic Park gameplay from a decade ago saving me. Nice! Super glad to hear it. Love it, love it, love it. Glad we could help out with that. Thanks for watching. Thanks for stopping by and saying hi, too. That's always a bonus. Always a bonus. Yeah, I'll see if I can dig up a equivalent to that quarter mile times that I have. So, because I mean, it breaks it down. There's like, with the GTI one, there's like 25 or 35 different people with different cars in different locations that have, like, you know, manual or DSG or, you know, street tires or semi slicks, pump gas, race fuel, you know, and they've got all these different categories that break down, and you can see, you know, and like, I'm coming in at 105 to 107 miles per hour in the quarter mile, which, if you look at the times on that list I sent, that should be closer to like a 13.2, 13.3 with my, but I just sit there before I actually gain traction and go. So really, I just need to figure out a way to get moving without spinning the tires, and without having a manual and a clutch to do that, it's almost impossible. But that all-wheel drive would certainly help with the launch. So I'm hoping to get that Golf R still. It's still there. I was playing every day. I'm like refreshing, like, hey, Kirsten, that Golf R is still there. She's like, yes, I know. You've told me 3 times today. I'm like, oh, I have? Okay, my bad. Like, I'm very much interested in getting that. And it's as of right now, it's still there, just in case you were wondering. All right, so I've got to the end of everything I got. We even replayed one of the videos. We've actually hit the hour mark, which is usually kind of the goal. Anybody got any questions? I know that we were worried about shout outs and getting names shouted out and stuff like that. So if anybody's out there needing to ask questions or wanting to ask questions, let's do it. Seems like there was one other thing. Starfield is either downloaded or downloading. Brian D is correct. My favorite Lego game is Lego City Undercover. Second being Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And third being Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens. Love all those. And if you think about it, they're all the newer engine-based ones, basically, other than... So 2 of the 3 are anyways. So I got my fingers crossed that TT Games is working on Lego City Undercover 2. The chase continues, or chase continues, right? Like, that would be wordplay. Perfect. The main character is Chase McCain, right? Chase continues. I mean, the chase sounds better, but Brian P, what up, man? Brian, your game breaks are every Thursday. Actually, they're the final day of the month, every month. So the next one won't be till November 30th. And sorry, September 30th. we're gonna skip a couple months. September 30th. I had my calendar wrong. I was looking at some dates for something else. But yeah, so we got and they're always at 5 p.m. Pacific, unless otherwise noted. Every once in a while, I'll do them at 10. Like today, we didn't have a stream. Often they fall on a day that I have a double stream. So sometimes I do them then, like, or if I'm getting ready to go on vacation, I've been known to do them at 10 a.m. like the regular stream time versus 5 p.m. But yeah. I've only had Lego game. I couldn't play it anymore on my Lego Stars the Clone Wars. You hated it, huh? There was some challenging stuff on there, like the Ground Wars weren't super clear on how to complete them. So I felt like those were a little problematic at times. Luckily, I had some help from the chat when I was replaying them. And Dougie, I don't know how Dougie figured it out when he did the guide. Funny enough, I stumbled across an old graphic from, like, I don't know, I think it was 2014. And we had posted a poll on our Facebook page, and only like 25 people responded. And, oh, it's your boy Cheesy! Favorite chips? These come in a close second. The spicy sweet chili Doritos, but the number one are the sweet and tangy barbecue. Those are the bomb D's right now. The bomb Doritos. I'm not a big fan of Cool Ranch used to be my go-to for a long time. Not so much anymore. Favorite Lego game? Just covered it. Lego City Undercover. Second being Lego City. Sorry, it's like Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga. And then third being Lego Star Wars, The Force Awakens. Nailed it first try. Who's going to be around tomorrow for Apex? Brian P, have you heard anything about a patch update for LEGO 2K to fix the trophies and not popping up for anyone? No, I have not. I do not believe I have gotten any updates. I know that this morning I scouted and recorded another collectible and still stuck at 95% for my progress for my 3,000 miles. So I'm basically going to have to start a second save file and just go farm miles for that and hope that that one works. Because it's not, I mean, could be the trophy trigger, but I feel like it's the game, not the PlayStation. But I mean, technically it probably could be an error on either side. So what I thought I would do is there's a couple of tips and tricks for the miles to accumulate fast. I thought I might start another save and then get it going. And then try to see if I can get, and if I can blast through and get the 3,000 mile trophy, then bam. Hey guys, wife is officially out of her CPR class. She is calling me right now. How many platinums do I have? 162, I think. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yeah, Cheesy, you are not going to eat my... This dude destroyed a whole bag of my chips the last time he was here without any hesitation or any kind of remorse. He's like, oh, these are yours? Oh, they're all gone. Thanks. I'm going to have to delete Garfield Cart, bro. I'm going to have to delete it. All right, guys. Much love to you all. Last call for questions. Last call for questions. Let's hear Jackson. Happy birthday. Hopefully you have a good one, dude. No. Yes. Let's see here. I got to freaking run errands tomorrow. I'll have to rewatch the vid. Well, we'll be streaming from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If your schedule opens up or is available through that time, please come by and say hi. Otherwise, I'll see you next time, which will probably be Monday, but possibly sooner. Possibly. We got plans for Tuesday, Bobby. See you there. All right, guys, that's going to officially go ahead and do it for me. Much love to you all. If you have not already, please check out happythumbsgaming.com. We also have social medias out there if you're into that kind of thing. And, yep, see ya bright and early for some Apexage. As always, until next time. See ya.